Every single aspect of your existence is dependent on connection, but not connection on a physical level. And that's why we're struggling, because as a human race, we've been taught connection is what you can see, what you can hear. It's through your five senses, but it's not. The connection that you're craving, you're literally craving it. It's when you feel like, why is this not enough? Why is this life not enough? Why am I still restless? This whole concept of I am enough is one of the most destructive belief systems on the planet, because you're not enough. You're dynamic, you're creative, you're inspiring, you're inspirational. You have the power to change the world. That's not enough. That's incredible. Everything is energy. Everything exists in energy. Everything is hidden in energy. All you have to do is remember how to feel energy, and bam, full access to the universe. It's that simple. And you were encoded with all this awareness. You just have to remember. You don't have to take courses in anything if you don't want to. Just set your intention to remember. Your capacity to feel everything in existence is not only innate, it's part of your sustenance. You need it to survive. And this is where we're going. We're going back to that place where connection is the foundation of everything. Our relationships, our experiences, our successes, because we all thrive. Every single human thrives when connection is the key. Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers, and today is part 51 of the story of creation. We've been sharing this story myself. It's basically me having conversations with the Creator and universal beings, and we've been doing this since January of 2025, so that you can have access to the truth of why humans were created, why we exist, what we're meant to be doing with our life. And we're also revealing the challenges that we are needing to overcome. We're not talking about mindfulness. We're talking about the origins of existence and the origins of intention itself for this universe. And so if those are the questions that you have on a regular basis, why do I exist? What am I meant to be doing with my life? How do I restore who I am and what I'm capable of at a soul level? Then you're in the right place. So we've been talking a lot about different layers of conscious awareness, right? In the last few episodes and parts of this story. Where we're going to go today, so the Creator is here, the angelics are here again. So we've got the first stream angelics. These are the beings who hold space for matter, the basic essentials of existence itself on a physical level. So they're the ones who created it. They're the ones who created the concepts of atoms and cells. And ultimately, then when we get into the whole dynamic of cell regeneration, you've got the second stream of angelics who create experience. So it's really what they want me to help you understand right now is this relationship is very intimate, okay? Every universal being is intimately connected with every other universal being in existence. And this is where this intimate connection is the part that humanity is missing right now, because ultimately we thrive through connection. Why? Because it's in connection that we have access to the information we need. It's that simple, right? That's how energy works. That's how frequency works. That's how energy healing works. All of these concepts that People have talked about a little bit here and a little bit there. We throw around these terms like quantum healing, and it doesn't really matter, okay? Because all of it comes back to connection. It's all based in connection. People who have downloaded wisdom from the universe, right? They call them downloads. Then people who have received, modalities that they're supposed to go out and share with the world. All of these experiences occur through connection. Intimate connection. What does intimate mean? Why is it used in that capacity when we're talking about connection? It's because when we are in connection with another universal being, it is where we receive what we need to succeed. It is what we crave more than anything else. It doesn't matter if you're looking for more money in your life, more, if your relationship is out of balance. It doesn't matter if it's your health and you want to bring that back into balance. Every single aspect of your existence is dependent on connection, but not connection on a physical level. And that's why we're struggling, because as a human race, we've been taught connection is what you can see, what you can hear. It's through your five senses, but it's not. The connection that you're craving, you're literally craving it. It's when you feel like, why is this not enough? Why is this life not enough? Why am I still restless? It looks perfect on the outside and I'm still restless. Or it doesn't look perfect. It looks like a shit show. But there's so much restlessness because what's happening is your energy isn't connecting with the source that you need. Okay? A lot of people refer to it just as source, and that's great. You don't need to pinpoint if you're not at the level of conscious awareness where you have the capacity to pinpoint who or which universal being you need to receive that wisdom from, right? And here's the thing, wisdom can be anything, right? It can be a transmission of, conscious awareness that will ignite your cells to restructure themselves so they come back into balance so you can heal. That's what healing is. Healing isn't fixing what's broken. It's understanding that there is a wisdom and a capacity inside of you that has direct access to the consciousness of how your cells were created. And because you have that direct access, you also then can feel the energy of where they're out of balance with that original intention of existence. This is the part that we need to reconnect to, because we've got humans running around believing and thinking they're broken because they don't believe that they have this capacity to connect to the consciousness of their cells, of creation itself, or the creator who created all of us. Okay? Why? Because our brains are askew. And what I mean by that is we have a lot of ideas of how things are made and created and built. So your brain, when you think about the creator, okay, and how humanity was created, in your mind, you have a visual. Let that visual come up for a minute. Do you see human bodies, and how do you see them being created? Because that visual tells you where your limitations are. It tells you where your beliefs are. This is important to understand. It's time for you to build this intimate relationship with how you see existence and the world, because it's in that vision, it's in that awareness that you're going to be able to understand what's missing. And most of us don't know to look there, right? We know that we feel empty. We know that we feel a need for more. We feel something is missing in our lives, in our relationships, in our finances. It doesn't really matter what it is. And what they're saying and what they're sharing is the fundamental aspect that's missing is your ability to connect. So that's what we're going to work on today. Okay? Because in connection, you have the capacity to change the world. But you have to start first with changing your world. And most of us are too, the word they're saying is conceited. And why I say that word is because we're so busy thinking about how we're going to help change other people's worlds so that we can be seen as nurturing, loving, supportive, respective, so that we can then finally have enough time and energy for ourselves so we can come back and change our own world. We've been taught to be consumed with, and it's not giving, it's actually being addicted to being seen as enough, being seen, like this whole concept of I am enough is one of the most destructive belief systems on the planet, because you're not enough. You're dynamic, you're creative, you're inspiring, you're inspirational. You have the power to change the world. That's not enough. That's incredible. And if you keep striving for enough, like you've been taught, then you're going to continue to need whatever that person is selling you, whatever that person wants you to buy. And what they're saying is enough is enough. Whether it's, your doctor that says, okay, well, we're going to do this for now, and we're going to get you just what you need. We're going to get you enough so that you feel better. You don't want to feel better. You want to feel like you're meant to feel as a human being who was created to experience and explore your potential. And yet you've been taught to be so complacent that you're desperate to feel better. We want to feel better. We just don't want to feel crappy. And that's the problem right there. Our goals aren't big enough because we forgot how to connect. Our ability to feel, your ability to feel your potential, it's not there. It's not in Technicolor anymore. It's dreams that you put at the bottom of your list, at the back of your mind, so that you don't have to think about them all the time because they're going to make you sad. Why do you think it makes you sad when you feel like you can't reach your goals? Because you're meant to. And there's something in you that continues to stop you from feeling them, to stop you from reaching them. Why? It's because your ability to connect with yourself has been impacted, it's been damaged, it's been controlled isn't the right word. They used manipulation to create the system. But what it is, excuse me for 1 second. What it is that your capacity to feel truth, love, respect, balance, movement, all of them, all of the 9 fundamentals, right? Your capacity to feel all of them has been nullified. Okay. And what this means is it's almost like numbing, right? Because if you're, how they're showing me, it's like you're walking through life and you have these goals. Okay. And what's happening is you've been taught to strategically plan for your goals, which at the end of the day, so they're showing me, it's like, it's almost like going down a highway. And some highways, how they have those barriers on the side because you have residential areas very close. So they have these barriers that are sound blocking, okay? And they visually block all the cars and whatever. You're stuck in this highway with these barriers on the sides, okay? So that you can only see what's right in front of you. But it's really important to also understand simultaneously that you've also been taught how to see what's in front of you. You've been taught how to prepare for it mentally. So if you're preparing, you're actually poisoning your potential, is exactly the way they're saying it. And what they mean by that is there is a natural instinct in humans, okay, in human existence, but also inside every human that, so Pan is actually explaining this, and he was a huge part of he was a huge part of creating this aspect of existence, okay? And the creator is also here, and he's just listening. He's listening because he's not the one who created this aspect of existence. And this is really important, okay? Because, so if you want to know more about, we're talking about actually the energy of love right now. There's a whole chapter on it in Believe. And if you want to go deeper, even still, I have an incredible program that the universal beings put together. It's called the Elevate Experience. And it actually gives you the opportunity to immerse yourself in the energy. But love is not what we've been taught it is. Okay. Love is actually the energy of universal connection. It is our ability to feel every other being and their awareness so that we can receive that consciousness, that universal awareness into our space so we can continue to move forward, to propel ourselves on our journey. Okay. And so it's really beautiful because the creator is just listening. And why he's listening and why they're showing me this dynamic is because it was Pan who, came to the creator. And because it's, again, creation is a collaboration. This entire universe is a collaboration. And your job is actually to continue to fulfill that collaboration. And the basics are set so that to feed that so that you can create and you can collaborate. But here's the really cool thing. And they're showing me because they want you to have this understanding as a strategic and specific example of how it was used in universal existence. And so Pan came to the creator and said, we need to make sure that everyone can feel the awareness that you have as the creator, but also the awareness of our potential and the awareness of all things that have come to pass. And so that's when they went, okay, so we need a space to hold existence itself. What does that mean? It means that every aspect of existence has a history. Okay. We don't need to write it down in books. Why? Why would we write it in books? We wouldn't write it in books as conscious beings because it becomes an interpretation from your mind. The reason every human is meant to go to the well themselves, right? I've often called it a well of information, but what it actually is consciousness. It is a space in existence. It's not a destination, right? It's not a physical space of a destination. It's a space of energy where everything has been recorded. It does not change. It is added to. And this is very, very important because a lot of people believe that it changes throughout the course of existence, okay? The vibration of consciousness will change as a result of the information that is fed into it, but it does not change the information that is there. It adds to it. So, for example, okay, if you have an experience and then someone else comes in and goes, wow, okay, I love that experience because that's how humans are meant to create. I love that experience and I'm going to build on it. And then you're going to take 20 other people who have had similar experiences because we're humans. We have similar intentions and interests, but we want to change it a little bit. We want to make it our own. And so what happens is every single piece that everyone has contributed to is going in that pot. It's going in that well. It doesn't change the original aspect because it adds to it. And this is really important, okay? Science has taught us that aspects change and then they become something else. We become a reflection of our potential the more we add to our experiences. But we do not remove consciousness from consciousness. Everything is always there. And this is the part they want you to forget. They want you to forget that A, you have access to it. B, you can feel it. You don't need someone else to tell you that this information exists. But they also want you to believe that it changes. Why? Because then they can still corrupt your origins. They can still corrupt the story. Everything that you have ever experienced, your existence, your reason for existence, from the moment your soul came into existence, it's all in consciousness. Just sitting there, just waiting for you to access it. None of this is hidden information. Every type of being in existence, ETs and reptilians and, fairies, and it doesn't even matter. Every stream of existence you can possibly think of, all of them exist there. All the information, all the awareness about them. That knowledge is yours. It's always been meant to be yours. And the only reason you suffer is because you forgot your capacity to connect to that energy. That's why they don't want you to remember that you're an energetic being. Because it's through the energy that the connection occurs. All you have to do is put your intention on it, attention on it, and energy, boom, it's coming right through. It's up to you to believe it. And this is where most people they doubt themselves. Why? Because you've been taught to doubt yourself. How? Because science says, prove it, tell me, you need to prove it. How many times do you have a conversation with another human being and they're like, oh yeah, prove it. They may not use those exact words. They're like, oh yeah, tell me how that happened. And I'm telling you right now, I have never seen so many prove it's. It's everywhere. Because humanity is changing. We are remembering our roots. We are remembering the core essence of who we were meant to be. Your job is to remember that connection is the key. It's the vibration of universal love. It has nothing to do with romantic love. It is your capacity to feel other beings, feel other energy, because energy is the source of creation itself. Everything is energy. Everything exists in energy. Everything is hidden in energy. All you have to do is remember how to feel energy, and bam, full access to the universe. It's that simple. And you were encoded with all this awareness. You just have to remember. You don't have to take courses in anything if you don't want to. Just set your intention to remember. Okay? You don't need modalities to heal. You certainly don't need a doctor to heal you. Because not only are you self-healing, you have access to the universal awareness that is meant to bring your cells back into balance. So, why do we need healers? Physical healers, mental, emotional. We need them until we can access that wisdom ourselves. And if you can't access it because you're struggling, you're second guessing yourself, you're second guessing your emotions, and you're worried that you can't get the information you need, that's okay. Because here's the thing, we do have people that are meant to be helping you right now. Not because you're weak and not because they're better or stronger. Because I'll tell you right now, it's easy for me to get information for others. It's always more challenging to get it for myself. Always. Why? Because as humans, we've been taught strategically not to help ourselves, not to know ourselves, not to understand ourselves. And that's why you want to start with connection. You want to start to remember how to feel, right? But we're terrified to feel. We're terrified to feel the depths of our soul. We're terrified to feel our strength because we're worried we're going to outshine other people and it's going to make them uncomfortable, which in turn is going to make us uncomfortable, which is why we continue to give from a place of here. Let me bleed, even though I'm a stone and there's nothing left to give you, but I'm going to give you more. And what the Creator really wants you to understand right now in this moment is that your energy is a result of universal creation. Your capacity to feel everything in existence is not only innate, it's part of your sustenance. You need it to survive. And this is where we're going. We're going back to that place where connection is the foundation of everything. Our relationships, our experiences, our successes, because we all thrive. Every single human thrives when connection is the key. It's true. It's why there's addictions. It's why there's mental health challenges. All of those things. It doesn't matter what your addiction is, whether it's drugs or sex or alcohol or shopping or whatever it is, right? Maybe your addiction is lying. Who cares? The point is, our addictions are a result of not wanting to feel. Why don't we want to feel? Because we've been told feeling our own energy is disruptive, it's destructive, and it causes more challenges. When the truth is, the world we live in is not supporting you. It wasn't designed to. It was designed to control you and keep you the same. But your energy and your capacity to feel energy, to feel universal awareness and consciousness, it can't be taken away. It's right there. It's not only inside of you, it's around you, it's everywhere. It's in every experience you have, it's in every conversation you have, it's in every person in existence. And your job is to let yourself feel. Stop thinking. When you're having a conversation with someone, stop thinking and feel into the energy of what they're saying. Notice how what they're saying makes you feel. And then share what you feel instead of what you think. Try it. If you need a little trigger, use the word I feel, that makes me feel, instead of I think, or that makes me think, or I think this. I feel. Use the word feel. So it starts to trigger your mind to back off and to relax a little bit. Because your mind is filled with a story that is not your own. But the good news is your capacity to uncover the truth of your true story, your true origins, it's just one feeling away. Just one. It's right there and it's waiting for you. We're going to dive deep into you exploring and feeling into your own story. In the coming episodes, if this helped unlock some truth for you, please subscribe. Let me know. Share below what you're feeling. Give me some specifics so I can keep going for you and I can keep giving you the information you need. Because again, we're all here. This is a conscious experience, and I'm so, so grateful you're on it with me. Thank you for now, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Consciousness doesn't change and evolve, it's added to with each contribution or each. And I didn't understand why that was important. And it's definitely different from my feeling. Like my feeling is a constant moving changing of
So,
consciousness. So I
right.
just want to hear that.
So, okay. So I'm going to give you the example that they're showing me first. So imagine your family line, okay? And let's go 50 generations. That's a lot of generations. That's 50 generations of humans, okay? So maybe there's, I don't know, 150, 200, 300 humans in those generations. Maybe there's 1,000. We don't know, okay? But imagine, so the concept of consciousness evolves means there would be the original human in that space and you. And all the others in between, they're not really important. You see? Whereas evolution, the true concept of evolution is all of those pieces, all of those humans are aspects of consciousness, and they all are still there because every single aspect of that they've explored is valuable and it's valid to consciousness. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to learn more, head on over to michellevickers.com. Join our mailing list to receive new episodes right to your inbox or apply to be a guest on the show. If this episode made you think of someone while you were listening, forward the link onto that person with a little note about why it made you think of them, because the greatest gift you can give another human is to see the beauty and purity of who they truly are. Until next time, stay curious.